So, lesson number 5, and this is our final lesson on customer care. So, here we're going to discuss dealing with complaints and difficult customers. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify the personal qualities required to deal with customer problems, describe how to communicate with dissatisfied customers, as well as the skills required to deal with potentially volatile or unpleasant situations. You'll be able to identify responses and actions that may make problems worse, as well as describing how to adapt your communication style, attitude, and response to meet individual customer needs. You'll be able to describe how to inform customers when promises cannot be kept as a result of unforeseen circumstances, and separately explain how and when to refer problems to a senior colleague. You'll also be able to explain how to use social media profiles as a fitness instructor and describe the benefits and risks of using social media platforms for fitness instructors. Okay, so mostly dealing with customer complaints here with an added section on social media. So, just by yourself, I want you to write down a personal experience of either a complaint made by you and how it was dealt with, either positively or negatively, or a complaint made to you while in work and how it was dealt with, again, either positively or negatively. I want you to focus on the speed of the response. Was it fast? Was it slow? Was it appropriate? The efficiency of response, again, was it appropriate and did it solve the complaint that you had made or was made to you? The attitude of the employees involved. Did the employee or you accept responsibility or put the blame elsewhere? And how was the communication throughout the process? Was it good, or what could you have done to improve it? So when dealing with complaints, we should listen without interrupting, thank the client for their feedback and for bringing the issue to your attention. You should take ownership of the complaint. Do not pass it off to someone else. Say, that's not to do with me, it's not my problem. You take ownership of it and then figure out who you need to speak to in regards to it. You must always be polite, remain calm, and never enter into an argument. You must always follow organizational procedures, and again, this will vary depending on where you work, but you should be given all of this information in your introduction or briefing into the company. This process may involve recording the complaint, filling in a complaint form, acknowledging receipt of the complaint, and reassuring the customer that it will be resolved in a timely fashion. You should also always offer a point of contact, advise the client of possible solutions or alternatives, and allow them to decide on appropriate solution and ensure that they are appeased or happy before they leave. You must inform the relevant staff about the problem, so who else is affected by it, your other gym instructor colleagues, personal trainer, or management, and communicate with the client and update them on any progress. So, dealing with angry customers. There's 2 different ways that you can deal with them, and we do not want to deal with them aggressively. So aggressive language includes phrases like, "Don't you dare speak to me like that." With that attitude, "How do you expect me to resolve this?" and "Shut up or I won't continue this conversation." Aggressive body language is things like scowling, closed posture with arms folded, and invading personal space. So none of these things in these 2 lists are good. We do not want to use these, okay? We want assertive language. So I'd prefer if you didn't speak to me that way. I can understand your frustration. Let's see what we can do about this. Or, I won't be able to continue this conversation if you keep using bad language. So you're being polite and trying to help at the same time as calming down the customer and appeasing them or making them happier. Assertive body language, so how we want to portray ourselves, includes open facial expressions, so not scowling, an open posture, and standing at respectful distance. Okay. So, using customer complaints as an opportunity. Not all complaints need to be seen as a bad thing. Complaints should neither be taken personally nor be dealt with in a defensive blame culture manner. That just means don't say, oh, that wasn't me, that was X person over there, she did that, he did that, that's their fault. Instead, they should be used as an opportunity to show just how much you and your organization care about customers in dealing with their issues positively. They're also a great learning opportunity to ensure that the same problems do not reoccur in the future. So anytime you are dealing with a problem, think about what you have learned from it and how you are going to implement these learnings going forwards. Okay. Customer complaints are always about helping the customer, making them feel valued, and doing as much as you can within reason to solve that complaint. And if you cannot, you refer to your manager or someone who is above you and has more authority and experience in these matters. Okay, so leaving customer complaints for a moment, we're going to jump onto social media. So, by yourself, I want you to list what social media platforms do you use and what you use them for. Okay, and then the potential benefits and risks of using social media as a fitness professional. So this final point here in your task is actually in your lap. So you need to be writing this down anyway. So do it now and then you can transfer it into your lap. Okay. So social media platforms, they include things like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, loads of things, TikTok, YouTube. There's lots of different options to choose from. Not everyone uses all of them, and indeed it is very difficult to try and keep track of a lot of different platforms at once. So normally people choose one or two main ones to focus on. So we're just going to pause the PowerPoint. You're going to pause the PowerPoint here until you've written me the potential benefits and risks of using social media as a fitness professional. Give me 3 answers for both. Okay, now you have some of these written down. We're going to go through them. So benefits, they keep up to date with industry development, or they help you keep up to date. They are a free opportunity to promote yourself or your business. And sometimes there's opportunities to seek employment, particularly on LinkedIn, which has a jobs section on it. However, the risks of social media is that information may not be reputable, which just means it might not be correct, and or it might be biased. Personal posts may not represent the views of all of your customers or your clients, and they could cause offense. An excessive use in the workplace could reduce productivity and lead to disciplinary action. Okay, so we're just going to do this by ourselves, but you want to look at your last 10 social media posts across all platforms and consider whether any of them have the potential to offend a customer if they were to see this. Okay, so we're just going to pause the PowerPoint while you look through your last 10 social media posts and see whether they have any potential to offend. Once you've done that, just start up the PowerPoint again. Okay, so now you've done that, of course, it is a good idea to change any posts that you feel may cause offense, as when something has gone online, it is there forever. Okay, so if there's anything across the history of your social medias that may offend or hinder you moving into gym instructor employment, you may want to remove that when you can. So at the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the personal qualities required to deal with customer problems. So this is generally a friendly, calm attitude with patience, being polite, and making the customer feel valued. We've talked about how to communicate with dissatisfied customers and the skills required to deal with potentially volatile or unpleasant situations. We've talked about responses and actions that may make problems worse, and how to adapt our communication style, attitude, and response to meet individual customer needs. We've spoken a bit about informing customers when promises cannot be kept as a result of unforeseen circumstances. But there's also a lot more information about this in the orange section of your manual. We've also talked a little bit about how and when to refer problems to a senior colleague. And again, it's best to do this if unsure at all, because you will never get in trouble for asking for help. Okay. In regards to social media, we've spoken a little bit about how to use profiles as a fitness instructor and benefits and risks of using social media platforms. Everything that you put on social media can be seen by others, so please make sure that you're not putting private information up there. And also, if you are putting anything at all about your clients on social media, so their picture, their testimonial, their name, anything at all that could highlight who they are, you must have their written permission before you post anything. If you want to post a picture of them, a progress picture of them, a testimonial from them, anything at all, you absolutely have to have their written permission to do so. This is so important. Okay, that's super important that you have that before you post anything. That is the end of this lesson. So if you turn back to your lap, you should be able to complete all of the first worksheet now. So give that a go, and if you have any questions at all, please just ask.